Let's see. How much could you make saving using teaserettes? I'm not too sure. Oh, sorry. I'm reading some inspiration here from Philmax Messenger of Good Cheer. Looking to see how much you can save using Philmax teaserettes. What is this? Well, this, as everybody probably knows already, is ephemera. And much to the dismay of some people, or the enjoyment of some people, I decided that today we would talk more about putting the PH for profits in ephemera, or putting the F in ephemera for profit, I guess, at the end of the day, because I guess it would be profit instead of profit. So welcome to everybody who joined us here on Two Dogs Digs Live Hall Pass for a Tuesday night. We decided that we've talked a little bit about this kind of stuff before, but we thought it would be good to just keep bringing back some of the items that we've chatted about in the past, especially given that we're seeing different places where they're selling, for example, on Whatnot. And that's one of the things that got us thinking about the ephemera side of things again. And we found some stuff that's still sitting in our tubs in the basement in our profit pile, or our profit pile. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say it. Anyway, of course, I've got my better half downstairs. Hello, sir.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I cannot hear you.
You can't hear me?
Give me a second.
Everybody else, I think, can hear me. Have you got the sound turned on?
Hello.
Hello.
No, you had the sound muted for our Whatnot show.
Oh, I didn't have the sound. Oh, okay. You're blaming
our
me.
Whatnot show.
Hey, Nellie, thanks for joining us. Joel, Mr. Carl, who will be with us next week for our What Sold in October. Susan, hey there. Heather, Janet, Tina, Dawn, who's got the biggest kick out of our profit side of things, I think. Diana. Hey, Tamara made it. And Lane, thanks to you. Hey, Holly, hello. Who else have we got? Tina. Rick's a Minnesotan dog. Minnesotan dog now. I don't know why that is there. Hey, Lisa. And Doug, of course. They're just hiding at the top of the stairs. We thought we would chat a little bit about paper. Talk about how you can look at selling it. Some of the things that we found that haven't necessarily cost us a lot of money. And a little bit about our experience last week on Whatnot. We're actually going to be on that again, so we'll chat about that. And a couple of little fun, extra little things that we're chatting about. So I think one of the first things I wanted to bring up before we get into the whole thing is we've always talked about the story of what happens when you move something, touch something, or and it ends up selling, like that weird kind of world that we live in. So we did our first Whatnots last week. We did 3 shows, little shows to test ourselves on Wednesday, and then did a full show for almost 2 hours because the time really flew by on Sunday. We actually have 2 shows scheduled now this week. We're going to try and do 2 a week for a while and trying to figure out what it is that we're actually going to be talking about. So on Whatnot right now, this is our next show that we're doing tomorrow night. This is our little preview for it. It's Ponies and Shortcake and Trolls, oh my. So we're doing a show on 70s, 80s, 90s girls' toys, I guess you could call it, vintage toys. And so this is what you can do. You can put a still image up, or you can put a video image. This is actually a video image of some of the items that we've actually got running in the Whatnot show. Yay, Joel's preparing for his first Whatnot. And now, as sort of an aside, just to keep it an idea and keep it easy on people, if you are trying Whatnot, it is a growth pattern to try and look at. The time that we spent on it, we've sold about $150 plus worth of stuff. Now, the nice thing from our standpoint is we're selling stuff that probably would have been donatable, or probably would have been that we've tried to sell in other places, or stuff that we actually had in our garage sale boxes. It's a lot of stuff. In fact, the stuff you see in the girls' vintage toy side of things, it's a lot of stuff that we've actually tried to sell on eBay before. We actually had these boxes put aside for our pop shops from back in the fall of last year. So we want to see if there's a little more traction to that because of the way Whatnot has so many categories. And speaking of categories, segue, this is actually what's on right now. There's 173 shows scheduled for Whatnot in ephemera and postcards alone. So there are a lot of people going on there, and I know that Dawn has mentioned that she's actually been in there looking at this kind of thing, and even there have been even some events that have been scheduled. So Popeye's Postcards, which is one of the largest postcard retailers around, actually organized an event which was like a postcard day or two, I believe, and had a lot of people joining them for that. So there was everybody, all part of this one sort of day. So again, it's a community kind of build on that. And the nice thing is, because of the prices and things like that for shipping, and you don't pay them, the buyer does, it's easy to sell postcards. And you get trackable things, and the people actually end up spending the $4 or $5 to get tracked packaging from them. So yes, Pokemon cards there too. Popeye's he really knows his postcards. So it was Paper Palooza and Ephemera. Ephemerama. Oh, okay. Now, oh yeah, Carl's still working on trying to find sheets for next week. That's our challenge still. We got a challenge still for people for sheets. Now, we will take any kind of sheets. So we will take sheets now of even like, we'll take music, sheets of music if you can. But we were trying to see if you could go to someplace you never normally look and go to the linen side of things as something. Joel got a strange visit today from the homicide police regarding a suspicious death of a young boy in the basement of an apartment. That sounds almost like a Halloween movie. Anyway, so back to Whatnot and such. As you can see, with Ephemera, they've got shows on that are live right now. And
that doesn't like the word ephemera.
No, it seems he barks only when I say the word ephemera. So first off, the reason that I sort of brought the ephemera thing back again in the circle was when I talked about touching stuff. Well, we did our first shows on Whatnot, and when we did them, I was looking at what other people are doing in the vintage and estate sale stuff, and I walked by our stock, which is down along sort of a wall, and I saw some teacups sticking out. And I thought, you know what? We've had these teacups for 3+ years. We have tried them at every kind of price under the sun. We've actually we had a set of, I think, 8 of them or 6 of them, Rick, or something like that. We even ended up trying to put some onto our
we sold
Max
a couple in Max sold 2 years ago.
That didn't go great. Anything along those lines. So I literally was looking at this going, okay, well, I've got to try and figure out some way to get rid of these things. I guess I'm going to put these onto Whatnot. So it's like, this is, pardon me. This is a set, and it was actually very hard to try and find what this was. We actually had to use research from some people. We had to ask a lot of research on it. This is actually a teacup and saucer set that is from Tiffany and Company, New York. And we did actually trace it down to being, I think, Rick, it was the 30s. And the pattern wasn't that normally known or anything like that. So
yeah, somebody in our Canadian resellers Facebook group actually helped a great deal in describing what the flowers were.
So I gave up on trying to figure out how to sell these things. I literally said, you know what? I'm going to take these. This was Sunday night. I'm going to take these and I am going to put them into the Whatnot. So I'm going to end the auction and put them into the Whatnot because they've been sitting on the buy it now on eBay. The next day, we got someone who said, would you take an offer on both of your teacups for $50 each? No, $55 each. And I was like, yes, I will take an offer for $55 each because It had been plus shipping. It had been sitting around for 3 years, and I was about to put them onto a test on whatnot that I might have only got $5 or $10 for, because I would have started these out at least $10 a cup, but $55 for each one. So that was one of the weird. I've like happened to be what I moved it. We talked about it. We actually talked about it on something else too, and it was just like, well, yeah, I guess this is where we have to actually thank the gods of sales for just talking about something or moving something or any of those kind of little weird kind of things, right?
Yep. Absolutely. That there is some weird power at play in the universe.
And just because we're talking about that, I have to show you something that Rick, we showed this a couple of weeks ago.
I thought we were going to save this for next week, but yeah, go ahead.
No, we had a good month. We sold this talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and
I listed it.
We listed it, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but we talked about this that Rick tried on in the store. It was the vintage
Matador
hat. Now, I can't remember, where did you get an idea on pricing on this?
I pulled it out of my butt. No, actually, I did research on WorthPoint. There weren't any recent solds I could find using TerraPeak or Google. So when I went to WorthPoint, I was able to find one that had the chin strap. And it was quite similar inside, and it sold, I think, for $150.
But you decided, just again, how much did we pay for it?
$1.99 at Salvation Army, no tax.
And what happened today? There it was, listed for $99, and we got an offer today for $50. And out the door it went. I said to Rick, $50. Do you want to actually sell it for that low? And he's like, "Yep, don't counter. Just take the $50. Take the
money and run.
Take the money and run." And sometimes that's what you do want to do when you're looking at that stuff.
Heather's asking why I am Flat Ricky. Well, I originally had typed in Flat Stanley, but not everybody knows who Flat Stanley is. And it is an homage to ephemera, things that are flat, and being cheeky.
And yes, for the sheets, Tamara, it doesn't count because you're always in the linen section. You have to find some other kind of sheet. I don't know what, but anything that you can find that has the word sheet in it, if it's sheet music, if it's a sheet tray for cooking, I don't know. Joel's got a bunch of old NF postcards. I don't know what NF means. Are they best of group is one lot? I have about 20 or 30 of them, older ones. Well, I think that's one of the things, and Dawn is actually a big postcard person. She might be able to give a good answer to that. From what we've seen, there are some postcards that can go for a lot of money, but it can also take a lot of research and eat up a lot of time. So it's one of the things that we sometimes say back in our world of, if there's a bunch of things, Niagara Falls. So look up Niagara Falls in TerraPeak. Don't look it up in the past 3 months. Look it up in TerraPeak for the past year, or look it up in WorthPoint if you subscribe to that, which is the past 10 years. And see if there's anything that really stands out that's a Niagara Falls postcard. And if it's one that you have, maybe pull it out. But otherwise, put them all together. And a lot of times, from what little we know on the postcard world, and Dawn may be able to help us again on this, it is souvenir postcards are not necessarily big money makers, big sellers. And a lot of postcards are 99-cent postcards.
But the real photo of postcards can be.
Can be, yes. Heather is watching in bed. That's the linen section. That is true. Hey, Julie. It didn't. Oh, that's okay. That's a better late than not at all. And hey, Allison, no worries that you're late too. I'm glad people are dropping by. Let's see. Wire flat. I'm just going through here. Popeye sent Don a bunch of Niagara Falls postcards as a gag because the bane of his existence. Well, that tells you maybe. And said your hat looked like a Mickey Mouse hat.
Yes, the Matador hat.
Would I have got $55? I don't know. And actually, we did sell a couple of things on our Tuesday or Wednesday show that we got like eBay pricing on.
Yeah, we sold a set of lucite candles.
Yeah. And the auctions went up on that. And we've seen a lot of glassware and things like that have gotten good money. And I've seen good money paid for vintage Barbies, Monster High dolls, like in some of the categories that I sell in. I've been looking at a lot of them. And so it depends. I don't think it diminishes, Allison, what's in there. I do think that there's a lot of buyers who are resellers. But I also think it's a way for somebody who's a reseller to get rid of stock if you want to get rid of stock. And there's no reason why you have to devalue something to go on to whatnot. We are going on there with toys, and some of those toys, they're going to start at $25. If nobody bids on them, that's fine. I'm not going to start things at $1. Like some people do, but some people do because they have tonnage and they're not paying a lot of money for it as well. So Tina's got a small box of postcards. Heather's got lots of vintage cabinet cards. So I think that basically one of the things I think we're going to be using them both. We're actually finishing a what sold toy auction tonight. And we're going to look at some stuff sort of, it might try it in what not for a little while, and then it goes to max sold instead, like things like that.
Depends on whether it can be shipped easily. Craig can attest, I kind of freaked out a bit when it came time to pack the last whatnot sales.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of items. That's the only
things that all got bundled together because they were bought by the same buyer. It's like, oh no, I can't figure out how to do this. Can you help?
So let's just start off with, let's go back to basic school. So what is ephemera? This is Wikipedia's ephemera. Transitory creations which are not meant to be retained or preserved. Its etymological origins are in ancient Greece. But basically, if you look here, it's ambiguous in nature, and various interpretations and related have been, including menus, newspapers, postcards, posters, sheet music, stickers, and Valentines. I found something interesting here, which is at one point people even may have considered comic books and things like that to be ephemera. I guess you could, but not a lot of people consider it in that category anymore. So here's actually something I found which was interesting as I moved down here. This is what is normally described. So anything, air transport labels, bank checks, bingo cards, bookmarkers. I don't know what broadsides are. Somebody might. Bus tickets, catalogs, envelopes, maps, menus, pamphlets, even paper dolls, receipts, stamps, all of Valentine's ticket stubs, and things like meeting minutes, like stickers, financial records, and personal memorabilia, marriage certificates, all those sort of things. Those can all be part of the ephemera world. Basically, it's paper, and in a way, it's like we said in one of our other shows, flat is where it's at. It can be a lot of different things depending on the person. Most of the people are looking at it and it's some form of paper, as opposed to, let's say, a flat record album. That's flat, but it's not paper. The record sleeve is paper. Could it be considered ephemera? Yes, it could, Doug. That's very good. But here's a couple of things like this. Here's just from the back here. I'll show you this little grab of things that I've got that are stuff that would be considered in the ephemera world. Now, where we get our ephemera: auctions, estate sales, and flea markets. Not so much, occasionally we find something at a thrift store. We may find a bag of stuff at thrift stores. But generally it's auctions, estate sales, and flea markets, and even antique malls. And if you remember, a few weeks back, we showed that huge lot of labels. So that would be in the ephemera world. But this is some of the stuff that we've got that was just sitting in a box downstairs. So I'm going to show you some of this stuff as I put it up here. So this is everything under the sun. So we've got Madame Tussauds exhibition. And this is actually from wherever they did this at some list of exhibits somewhere in, it looks like in London. So this is a special exhibition at Madame Tussauds. This is a house in Kentucky, Bellevue, Kentucky, all doubled up. A farce in one act for 9 female characters. The famous London Palladium, Stars in Your Eyes program. And programs we've actually found, especially take a good look at them, is they may have really interesting people who are in them at some point. You've seen us sell and talk about this sort of stuff before. Airline memorabilia. So this is actually a route map from KLM that's an older route map. And I'm going to show you something right now as well.
We've sold that one before, Craig.
We've sold a couple of these from KLM before.
Yeah.
But here's something we have actually on right now that we've sold some and we still have a few left. These are actually stickers from American Airlines for when they used to handwrite changes in your flight status and stick this onto your boarding pack. So we actually have these listed right now. We had a stack of them that we found basically in a box of, it was almost like a junk drawer. And that's actually one of the other places you can find a lot of this stuff is junk drawers. And we actually sell them for $12.50 for a sheet of 10. And we paid pennies, if anything, on that. And we've sold about $50 worth. Something like this, which you may recall playing with, depending on how old you're, a magic slate, a back-to-school writing pad. And that's the kind that when you lift the cover on it, I consider this ephemera. I don't know if everybody else would or not. This is the kind where you wrote on it with your finger.
The Battle of the Slates.
It's the Battle of the Slates. So Rick actually just found this one recently. And where was that, Rick? It was at
This was in my dollar pile at that one estate sale.
So and yours is actually still sealed though, I think, right?
It's still sealed, and look, it has little cutouts on the back.
Wait, I'm going to show you there better. And it's even got the little pencil in. So this is going to be great for us as it comes up to...
This is from 1975 by a company called James and Jonathan. I haven't been able to find this exact item anywhere, so it'll probably be priced accordingly.
This is actually really strange because this is a back-to-school slate that was actually given out by a company called Robert Hall, America's largest family clothing chain. So this was some kind of promo that they did for you to actually play with. And on the back, it actually explains to you, Robert Hall, lower overhead means lower prices. Like, I would, again, now I've got to look up Robert Hall when I look at something like that. Something else that you may be familiar with, of course, is, that's what I'm talking about, that Christmas catalogs, Christmas flyers. You'll find these can actually, depending upon what they are, can sell for good money. Why? Because sometimes you'll actually see things like this on it, and people want this to frame. And a number of people, Lisa Boland, who doesn't in here right now, but I know that she actually sells magazine pages. And we've been to a couple of antique antique shows where there's people who are literally just cutting the pages out of magazines and selling them for $6, $8, $9, $10. So when you think about something like this could be something that somebody would really want to frame because it's the old Radio Shack games. Janet said they had a Robert Hall store in Indiana. Oh, okay. Again, it's not a Canadian store, so I'm not used to what that is. Here's a couple of others that I thought were just interesting. This is the Wayne Pharmacy Drug Company, St. Joseph's Family Almanac calendar. So this is a calendar, and it is from 1973. You can use calendars over and over again. There is actually a website for them that tells you when you could use this 1973 calendar again, because the dates are all the exact same. I believe it's approximately every 8 to 11 years. The days actually fall on the exact same day in a calendar. So Dawn said she's listed close to 100 ads from magazines this week. It's definitely a thing. Diane has an Eaton's catalog somewhere. Sears catalogs, yes. Christmas catalogs are huge. Susan sold an old consumers distributing catalog for $55. So yeah, so again, it's one of those really interesting. Here's what Rick found the website for that, and it's whencanIusethiscalendar.com. So if you're going to sell something like this, it's nice to be able to tell somebody, this calendar can be used again in 2023.
What year is that, Craig?
Huh?
What year is that one?
This one is 1973, and this one from the same place, the Wayne Parker Drug Company. Greetings for 1972. Oh, look at that! Look at that Jello mold. No, there it is. That Jello mold. Isn't that just yelling out that health is a family affair? Oh, and if anybody does need the recipe for that Jello mold, I can send it to them because it's on the back here. Actually, here's another one. This is from the same company.
So the 1973 calendar can be used in 2029, 2035, 2046, 2057, and 2063.
So about every 9 years.
Yep.
Your gift calendar. So again, these are just some of the things that I'm just talking about as generally as ephemera that you may find that is of interest to people, but you can also sort of consider things like mastering the Rubik's Cube. It's a little bit of ephemera. This is some just prints that came out from American Homestead. Now, again, this is the sort of thing that we find usually in bulk. Can you remove that thing, Rick, from the...
Huh?
No, just removing your comment. These are the things that we usually find in bulk that just happen to be thrown into something. Even things like this, which we found, I don't even know what we will do with some of these. And this is just it. Some of this, when we're going to sell it, it may very well be, we'll do a quick research piece on it. And then once we've done that quick research piece, we will decide whether we're going to put it into a little lot, and maybe we'll put it on whatnot and see if somebody will buy it. So this is from 1910. Somebody bought some grapes, some sweets, and a box of pears. And this is their receipt from Anthony Jones for wholesale. So I don't know who Anthony Jones is again, but this is the kind of thing I want you a lot of times you may see this kind of thing in boxes and throw them out. Sears and Prune, wholesale grocers and tea jobbers. Specialists in molasses, tobacco, and cigars. So again, this is from 1908. 100 and something. And it's, again, small, easy to list. This is Standard Oil Company of New York in Albany, New York from 1912 about letters that have written to somebody about something, some personal issues. And again, there's another one underneath it too. Some of these stuff, it's fun. It can be great for people who are doing scrapbooking, crafts, and all of those sort of things to look at. So I want you to think there's all sorts of different types of things. There's advertising. Like, I love this. We may have shown some of these things before, but I just think they're great. This is from the touch tone push button telephone from the New York Telephone. Just push the buttons, and it's actually a flyer for that. Now, again, this is the kind of thing that could easily be displayed if you happen to be somebody who's a fan. I wouldn't cut this up. I would sell this all as a whole. And it's easy to photograph. It's usually 2 or 3 photographs. A new look, and this is another thing from New York. And this was part of stuff that was literally at some person's estate sale that we walked in, and they had like drawers. And that's what I was saying about junk drawers, because junk drawers are sometimes filled with all the stuff that they don't want, or people don't want. And it's like, or they stuffed aside their warranties, their bills, their all sorts of their old stock things. You never know. And again, behind us, I always talk about, this is one of our favorite things that is ephemera from junk drawers, and it is our collection of TV tickets. So I know I mentioned them before, but I'll just go through some of them again. And this is all tickets from the 1960s and 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s to TV shows, because when you wanted to see a TV show back in 1977 and you wanted to go see Early to Rise and Early to Bed, and every day I cooked and cleaned and went out of my head, going through life with blinders on, it's tough to see. I gotta get out from under and look for me. There's a new girl in town. I don't know why, but okay, I'm old and I still remember the theme song to that.
Okay, enough of the singing. Elisa says that estate sales
Why do you want me singing? You said that to me the other day.
Estate sales around her charge up for ephemera. They want to price things individually. This is why you get together a full pile of things. You come to them with, 20 or 30 different things and say, I want a price for everything. And they're usually accommodating.
Now, these are all, we got most of these. You got to be older for this name.
Lola
Falana with guest star Red Fox and special guest star Dick Van Dyke. Now, the thing is about all of these things, these are all, were stuck in people's junk drawers. And so when you go to find them, and especially on eBay, this is the type of thing that we find, and we don't spend a lot of money. We're not getting these from anywhere, and they don't make anything along these lines anymore. So the way that we've actually got ours set up on the back here, this is actually variety shows. So Carol Burnett and some sitcoms, Three's Company, Bob Newhart, All in the Family, Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. Those are all real tickets that people had and they didn't use. And then this side over here, that's the bottom part is all talk shows. So Dinah Shore, John Davidson, Joan Rivers, Mike Douglas, and as you go up, it's all game shows. So it's like Match Game 76 and Queen for a Day and all of those kind of things. So again, there's people who collect these things. I'm one of the people that collect these things. So yes, it is possible you could end up going to an estate sale and somebody will be charging you a lot for individual items. But sometimes, as Rick said, you can put it together and make one big one. And that's what we found a lot of times.
Look at what I found in a box in the drawer. You remember these, Craigie?
Yes, I do remember those.
They're basically all of the little booklets that would have come with your Barbie or Barbie fashion. Here's actually a booklet for Tammy. Here's one for Francie. This is for a living. This is for another toy company. And look, it's Penny Bright. Anyways, we have a box full of these. And I can remember when we were going to the Barbie shows, that some people were actually cutting them out, laminating them, and sticking a magnet on the back to make fridge magnets.
So we did it.
We tried to do it, but we couldn't find the right kind of magnet. So
we did. So we actually had. Oh no, we did. We actually sold those at our Vinyl Princess shows.
Did we?
Yes.
I block out all of that stuff. I'm the Barbie widow. Remember?
And then some of the stuff, as I say, when you look at it, it might end up being something that looked like it was priced. We did not pay $25 for this bag. And I found this in just our stuff, and it says Robert Burns steel plate engravings, copyright 1895 by $25. I tell you right now, I didn't pay $25 for this. Whatever these are, this is stuff that is literally we would have got in a batch of stuff, or someone had threw it. And a lot of times, maybe it was an estate sale. It also could have been at a flea market. And this is, it's hard to see. Each one of these has a little vellum cover to it. So I have to do a little research on it, but they priced it. I'm going to put it back in this. That's what it says on there. Robert Burns. Steel plate engravings. I don't know. I've never heard of I just found this. Let's see what else we got in here. The Burns Monument Ire, which I think is Robbie Burns. That looks pretty Scottish to me. Old Brigadoon. So, and you can see that this was actually, at one point, it looks like this might have been in a book of some kind. So again, we didn't pay anything for this. And
Brigadoon, and you didn't sing?
Book covers. Did you know that when you go to Harvard, and if you want to look like you went to Harvard, we've got the book covers for you. This is actually a package of unused book covers that fit Harvard, that say Harvard on them. So if you want to look smart and you're carrying around books from Harvard, then you can carry those around with you. We've actually sold a bunch of those.
So Diana is saying that yes, it is Robert Burns, the Robert Burns.
Well, I don't know whether that'll mean anything, because I don't know whether anybody.
Why don't we touch base with her through Facebook and see if she can help do a bit of
this. This is actually a record, and again, we did not pay $3 for it, but it happened to. It's a clear record that happened to be stuck inside a space age. Is it? No, it's actually not a. It's a polygraph. What the heck is it? Please use Scotch tape to attach to the glass window or door. See the world in a new way. Flexible, unbreakable. So it's actually somebody trying to sell this kind of glass, like cover. Space age lens. This is something I thought was real. This is like an old Franklin Mint almanac. We had a bunch of these that we got that used to be the toppers for like Easter sales, all those sort of. This would actually be good, I think, on Whatnot, Rick. And then some stuff you may actually want to do a little digging into, which I have to find out how to get a hold of these people. This is actually not far from us. This is one of the original vacation previews from the Delawana Inn, which is actually just about an hour and a half north of Toronto. And it is their real vacation preview. So it's got their rates, it's got maps, what the rooms are going to look like, the story of Simcoe County. But I love this. It's like, and so I'm going to try and get a hold of the Delawana Inn and see if they would be interested in purchasing this, because they may not even have anything along these lines for them. So just really interesting kind of stuff. Wrapping paper. I don't know who these Buffalo's Best Bars. There we go. There we go. Go on. Hi. It's the only thing about holding stuff up, it goes out of focus and then comes back in. But one of the big things that we actually have is a tub. And it's a tub that we got from somebody. It was a closed down, independent drive-in and regular movie theater somewhere in the States. So we got this at Brimfield. So again, this cost us probably about, I'm trying to think, Greg. I don't think we paid more than like $50 for it.
I think it was half price day. I think he just wanted to get rid of it. It was like $25 or $30.
It wasn't a lot, and it was a tub. It was like a Tupperware tub. And I just want to show you about 10% of some of the stuff that we've got in this tub. And I haven't gotten around to this because I buried the tub for 3 years. But we actually did sell a bunch of stuff from this when we first got it, or maybe 5 years, actually. I keep forgetting. Because of COVID, I lose like 2.5 years. So this is probably 5+ years. But this was actually a company, and Filmac actually had these. This is for merchants who want to who have movies on. And it's all the stuff inside. And this is the teaserette I was talking to you about what you can order. Here's top-notch salesman make it the let's all go to the lobby, a real bargain for 25-foot long yum yum. It's a meal in itself. Like, you can order that. You can order Christmas books, sell Christmas books. This was just again interesting stuff that I found that I might have to put a few of these things together. Teaserettes.
It's like the backside of the movie industry. All of the things that if you were a movie theater owner, you could order and take advantage of to to spruce up your theater.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. National Screen Time Holiday Issue from 1960 to 1961. Now, I don't know what's in here. This is, I mean, look at that. Look at that ad. Promotionality Plus with Pepsi Cola. Holiday displays. Like, the stuff that's in these things is, I mean, again, I might end up saying, well, it's time for me to cut these apart because it's going to be better for me to cut these apart and try and sell them. Brand new, full color, fully animated intermission trailers to get them out of the car. So somebody who's there's just a bunch of these that were in there. We also have in here, and this is one of the big things that does sound like a group from the Teaserettes. The Teaserettes. The things that are known as press books, which are how movies used to have to get advertised. So they would send these press kits that had, and so again, some of this stuff, I'm just looking at it for the first time. We did sell a lot of these things before, but this is an actual press piece that they would have sent to a newspaper for the newspaper to print in the film section. Take a look at this. Where did she learn the facts of life? Through whispered conversations, off-color remarks, or smutty magazines. The film that dares explain what most parents can't. Teenage Mother. And I love the dancing. She's dancing away there. And there's down in the corner, there's her baby. And now Janet, Auntie from Karen Janet, would know about this kind of stuff because having dealt with what was basically a hoarder house and a barn, you find all this kind of stuff all the time, which is boxes, drawers, things that are just filled with paper. This particular thing, again, this happens to be more so stuff from this. Like right now, we're just talking about movie memorabilia that was from this one person who kept everything. So here's a press book for The Executioner, starring George Papard. So what it typically has in it is all sorts of different sizes of the ads that they could send to a paper. So they would cut these apart. They would tell you, again, here's even more different sizes. So you could send, if you have booked a certain size ad, you could send smaller size ads. And then if you wanted to, you can also order other things from it, like the Dior styles worn in The Executioner. So accessory sheets. You can get a 3-sheet, a 1-sheet, TV trailers, utility mats, scenes, a standee, all of these things available from National Screen Service. A lot of times you find out, though, you end up with movies that are like, what the heck is this? I'm sorry. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people who really, maybe they will, but a lot of people who really want to have a press book for Hank Williams Jr. and Shelley Fabares and Ed Begley, not Ed Begley Jr., Ed Begley Sr., in A Time to Sing, meet the man who starts a country storm over Nashville, Hank Williams Jr. One of my favorite movies, The Andromeda Strain, sort of like a precursor to COVID. So these are all stuff that is just like really, yeah, one really does want to wear designer clothes when executing. It is true, I guess. I guess. And better be King of the Grizzlies, half a ton and 10 feet tall. Only the Indian who called him brother could challenge the mighty Wob, ruler of the Rockies. And look at Wob, half a ton of giant fury. I guess somebody decided to name him Wob. Again, this, I'm not sure whether or not people would be interested in this, but
Is that the priest from
half a ton of giant fury?
Wow.
Datsun ties in with King of the Grizzlies. Tie in a Datsun with your Yes, this is Walt Disney production. It's kind of, I guess, I don't know what year it's from, actually. I'd have to try and take a closer look at 1970 Disney Productions. Here is another version. Here's your press portfolio for Hollywood Babylon. And this is the actual folder that it came in with individual press pieces in here. I'm happy to announce that we've completed production on one of the most outrageous films ever produced in the early heyday of Hollywood, Hollywood Babylon. So this is what they, again, this was sent out to try and entice a theater owner to book it. Yay, airport. Not that, I mean, Adrian and I love disaster films, so that's the reason I say yay, airport. Not that the airport has to crash or anything like that. We also have in here the other big thing that you may find from movie people, which is the movie lobby cards. So this happens to be, this is, again, I haven't looked at this. This is just the stack I just grabbed out, so I don't even know what's in this stack. So we've got Julie Andrews and Rock Hudson and Darling Lily. Showdown with Audie Murphy. I don't know if I got in here. A very special favor with Rock Hudson and Leslie Caron. The special favor is Rock says, Leslie, don't tell people.
I thought it was, can I borrow that dress?
Sean Connery and the Anderson tapes. John Gregson, Peggy Cummings, Donaldson, and Nadia Gray and the Captain's Table.
Who are they?
I have no idea who they are. The Oscar. And again, these are original lobby cards that we got. We did not pay. And a lot of times if you find lobby cards, you'll usually find them in batches of like 10 or 12 because that's how many were sent to, they can go for good money. There's more from the Captain's Table. So
yeah. Spinsby says they are nice and easy to ship.
Yep, nice and easy to ship.
They are.
This is like 10% of what I've got in here.
Well, that has to be more than 10% or less than 10%.
Oh no, it's actually less than 10%. I have never heard of 90% of these movies.
Lady in Cement?
This is the action picture. Frank Sinatra, Raquel Welch, Lady in Cement.
From 1968.
The scene is Miami, teeming with killers, blackmailers, topless bikinis. Okay. Cops and cement blocks. Topless bikinis, cops, and cement blocks. So this is for you to actually have your actual script. So you can see in here, you would send this script to a radio station and they would say, presented in color, opening this day at the so-and-so theater. Sinatra plays a private eye who becomes involved with a curvaceous heiress in the shape of Raquel Welch. Well, I guess just in the shape of Raquel Welch? And then, again, this is all those amazing things. So they're obviously selling it based on Raquel. I don't think that many people would want that Dan Blocker picture, but I think they would like those Lady in Cement pictures. So
there is a trailer for the movie on the Internet Movie Database.
I think this is a wild one. I think I remember seeing this movie in Cinerama. The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm. But take a look at how this opens. And then this actually comes down. Now, not only is it, and again, so the thing about this type of stuff from the movie theaters is it takes a little while to do a tiny little bit of research. And we were lucky enough to have found a number of these sort of sexploitation type of film press kits that we've sent. No, this is not a sexploitation one. I don't know how many people remember this. The story of Elsa. I want to sing again, Rick. born free,
Resist the urge.
as free as the wind blows,
Good night, I'm leaving.
as free as the grass grows, born free to follow Helga. The actual moment of conception and the complete birth of a baby. It contains revealing scenes. Since Helga contains certain revealing scenes, we suggest you see it first. Good morning and goodbye. Then some presses for things I do know. The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. The Reluctant Astronaut. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So it's a huge opportunity for a lot of people. And again, for me, this didn't cost a lot of money. So again, bragging a little, I guess, but this is the kind of thing that I think that you can actually make some money on if you find them in bulk. So we did the thing with the bulk labels where we bought all the fruit labels, and it cost us $60. I think we spent like $50 on this tub, and I think we bought 2 or 3 tubs at different times. We have bought boxes that literally just look like this at a flea market that's had stuff in it, and people said, "How much do you want for that?" And they've said $20 or $30. We've opened drawers at someone's estate sale where they allowed you to open drawers, and we've gone, "Oh, we can. How much is this?" And hopefully we don't have one of those places that starts taking every single thing that we've got and trying to go, okay, and this is okay, and this is okay. And like,
yeah, we've actually experienced that, and we've dropped the things and walked out.
Yeah.
I think that was once.
The other thing about this is a number of times, yes, these smell a little musty, and that can be something big that happens with them. Lane says, I always avoid paper because I don't know how to ship it properly. Well, I'll turn that over to Rick, because Rick has a few ways that he ships paper.
Sure, throw me under the bus. No, for paper, I make sure that I have a cardboard backer that is slightly larger than the item that's being shipped. And we always try to use the sturdy cardboard mailers. And if it's something that's especially valuable, I've actually used a cardboard backer, and we use pizza boxes. We had something that we sold. It was a World's Fair magazine supplement, and it fit in a 14-inch pizza box. So I did the cardboard backer, some bubble wrap and tape to hold it in place, and then pizza box.
So, and this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. This happens to be on eBay. These are cardboard backers, so it's comic book boards. So they're a good sturdy board, and they come in all different sizes. So it's actually the way, I don't know, Rick, if you've got anything down there, if you can show, it's how we actually store our well, here's actually something right here. This is something that we have. That's how we store. So this is paper in so we're using a comic book or a magazine holder. We've got our comic book backer card sitting in here, and then we've slid it in here so that it can stay in there. And then we have a section which is literally our flats. So we have a box, a regular banker box, that the flats are all in. So that we can actually store multiple flats in that. And
yeah, the cardboard backers actually help keep things flat as well.
I'll show you. This is some others that we just actually have. And these are all from our storage. These are about to go up on eBay. So this is all on comic book, cardboard backer. Comic book, cardboard backer. And we have about 20 of this, which happens to be the Rock's father. Christmas Fairyland. So any of these things that we're storing or we're going to list, we use comic book backers, magazine backers, and Life magazine, because it's even bigger, as the backers for these things, so that we can get stuff. And then sometimes we organize them We try and organize them if we can by category. Otherwise, it can be a deep box, and we try and do that. That's the only. Yeah, I'm organized in how they're up there, but we're not organized in the fact that I haven't looked at most of these things. Stephanie, Emma, you use comic book backing boards all the time, and they have magazine boards too. Yeah, that's exactly. And thank you again. I had a post I put in craft for some buttons that I didn't know what they were, and I called out Stephanie Emma, and she identified them all. So, and Dawn is, I put everything into a poly bag before it goes. Yeah, so it's just, and again, what we try and do is if we have something that happens to be more expensive, like if it's a $20, $30, $40, $50 item, we have Rick box it, and that's where we go to. Again, if you're available, you can get to a Costco for business, or you can find a place that sells cheap blank white pizza boxes. You can get 8 by 10, 10 by 10, 12 by 12, 14 by 14, 16 by 16. And, we get amazing feedback from people because we'll put a $70 item in a pizza box so it doesn't get bent on the way there. And that's the key when you are shipping some of this stuff, because I know that if somebody did say that they really wanted to have this in their thing for screen time, they don't want to have it bent over or folded to get into their mailbox for something like that. So hopefully,
they're pretty light too. All of the pizza boxes we have,
yeah, they don't weigh a lot.
14 by 14 are under a pound.
So again, to keep you in the postcard realm, just to give you an idea, right now there's 580,000 postcards that have sold in the past 3 months on eBay. Almost 600,000. If you go to Terapeak, there's $21 million worth of sales of postcards. A lot of them offer free shipping. If you do sell on eBay, you can also try and take advantage of for postcards, they have their flat rate shipping that only costs $1. Etsy, there are 291,000 Etsy listings right now for postcards. Right there. And if you go into WorthPoint, you will see as well that there are, I lost that page, a ton of things. This is something we actually sold. We got a bag of press pieces from a guy this was a guy's garage sale. He had a bunch of these things from somebody, and we split them all up. And this press piece alone, we sold this is ours on WorthPoint, for $19.69. It was this. He had all these Jack Ryan reporter things that we actually ended up selling about, I think, $100+ of these to, where do we sell them to, Rick?
Germany.
To Germany, before Germany put the rules into place. The guy bought, like, every time we list a lot, he would buy another lot and another lot and another lot. So that was great for what we found in there. Again, we also do things like the little labels. This is something that we have tons of. We bought at, this happened to be at this was at a flea market, but we've also bought them at antique malls where people don't know what they necessarily have in the antique mall side of things. So Lade wants to know what sold for $17,000. Let me find it. Let me go back. Where is that thing on Worth? Wait, it was Terapeak. So I can sort, if you really want to know what sold for $17,000, we'll sort it by average sold price. And the $17,000 one was a Ty Cobb rookie postcard that sold last year on December 31st. So because there's nothing else, it's not real. I guess a real postcard. It's hard to see what the picture is because once it's over 6 months, you can't really get into it. But we do. There is some other. There's a Ty Cobb, another one for $15,000. There is 3 hand-painted John Michel Basquiat street graffiti postcards from 1980 that sold for $13,000. There are Beatles signed promos. 1,000 real postcards, dealer lot, sold for $6,700. And that just sold in July of this year. So you can see there's a lot of different things where you could find something out on the paper side of things. So we want you to try and think about that. Try and see if there's something. And if you're saying, why can I never find this stuff? What I challenge you to do.
Here, Craig. I went into WorthPoint.
Yeah.
They don't have the $17,000 one, but they do have a number of the Ty Cobb postcards and cards that sold in the high tens of thousands.
Yeah.
That is all.
So what I was saying, Diana, is when you say you can never find this stuff, here's the challenge that I have for you. I want you to look in your drawers to see, because I can tell you what we found even in ours. I found a drawer filled with the things that I actually, from when I was 14 years old and went to Disney World, the very first time that I went to Disney World, I brought back some stickers from the Budweiser factory. I brought back a paper bag that held a postcard inside it. I sold the paper bag for $25 because it was a 1970s Disney paper bag. I've sold stickers from that. I found those kind of. So take a look. You may have a drawer right now that's got postcards or sheets or even old warranty things on how a specific like oven might have worked. Those things can have value. Yeah, everybody can look in your drawers. I want everybody. If you don't think you can find something paper-wise, even take a look at your thrift stores. It's not big there, but take a look there and see if you can find something. So my challenge for everybody is in the next month, I'd love to see something in the craft group. I'd love to see a post in there of something paper or ephemera oriented that you sold. We're back next Tuesday for our What Sold in November. And I'm going to post this in craft. So hopefully you're a member of our Canadian Facebook group. And in here, I will be posting. I'll be posting in our craft group there in the craft group some challenges. So next week, I want to see you post for me or send pictures to me of your sheets that you went out of your way. Yep, old car. And then, if you can, I would love to have you join us over on Whatnot for a checkout of what it is and check our show out, see what it's like. If you are going to join us there on Whatnot, the one thing to remind everybody of is that as a buyer, if you're thinking about going over there, if you go over there and you're thinking about buying something, all you end up having to do, I want to get into your drawers, yes. If you're thinking about buying something from Whatnot, there's the code, which is whatnot.com/invite/2dogsdigs. You'll get a $10 credit for you to shop. And if you are thinking about becoming a seller, the thing is, we say this, don't even think about becoming a seller without using our code. Why? Because if you want to be a seller and you use our code, and you sell something on your first show, I think within a month or so after it ends, they send a $200 referral check to me, which I will split with you. We can split in a couple of different ways. I can shop with it on your channel. So $125 worth of Canadian or $100 worth of stuff US, or we can just I can just send you the money in PayPal. Either way, it's a couple of $100 that we could split just for joining up if you're thinking about becoming a seller. Shelly Robbins is on there. She's done her first show. Joel is starting. He's going to be doing his first show coming up soon. So again, if you follow us as well, it would be great just for those of us who are starting on here. And I just want to see right now, if I go to here, we are so close with virtually nothing at all to having our first 100 followers. So all we've done is 5 days. We have been on there and we've set up shows to come up. This is all our upcoming shows. So every Wednesday and every Sunday, we are going to be doing shows. We actually have pound puppies that are still in their box, if you're interested in one, that we just recently got. And we'd love to see you there. We'd love to see you try something. We'd love to see you sell something paper-wise that doesn't cost a lot for you to find. Oh yeah, Rick, he was supposed to show this earlier, but I guess
would these classify as sheets? These
so.
are.
This is I don't. Then this is another one of those. We don't know where we got it.
I think that we got these at a mall, a vintage mall.
Like an antique mall.
An antique mall. I think these were in the box of T-shirt transfers at the very bottom.
But this is paper. These are folding paper people.
Yeah, these are called paper scraps, and they're
now. What I want you to do, Rick, is can you hold up a stack to show them what we've got? We have about 40 to 50 folders. Each one of those little
one or two
at least has a different picture, a different one of those sheets in it. They're Victorian looking.
These are little bears, and there are a ton of them.
And again, there's a ton, and I forgot all about them. Rick forgot all about them. They're so small and so flat that we forgot where they were at. And now that we found them again, it's like, okay, God, we got to get rid of these things. So these could be something, again, we're going to try them on Whatnot, see if they sell on there. We might find some great opportunities for us. I think, Rick, you found something you wanted to show there.
Well, no, they do have lots of these sort of listed on Etsy.
Yeah.
And they seem to be in the $3 range for each sheet. I'm sure that there are some that are more valuable than others based on what they are and what their popularity is.
Oh, probably. And again, we haven't really done any research on this, so it's really hard for us to look at right now. But yeah, you're seeing stuff there that's $3 Canadian. But if we put 4 or 5 different ones together, we can actually maybe able to get $3 or $4 for every one of them. And if we can sell 10 or 20 of them, or we can sell even multiples to somebody else who's another dealer and they want to sell them for $3, that's fine. We've got, I think, a few hundred pages there of stuff that we have to do. So Don's asking, the $3 ones are digital though, aren't they, Rick?
I'm just checking now.
So if they're digital, then we got real ones. We ain't got no digital ones.
No, these are real paper that will be mailed to you. So
Lane had the folding paper girls, little dresses and clothes you could change. Yeah, the paper dolls too. So a lot of people actually use those for crafting, decoupage, scrapbooking, all that sort of stuff. Especially we've seen with decoupage and onto dressers and things along those lines, putting them all around mirrors and making things like that. Yep, we did show them before, but we forgot about them when we found them before, and now we've found them again. So don't over-research, as Heather said. Just list where you can. Yep, that's very true. But whatever you do, try something, and if you can, try something new. Like you're trying here with us on Tuesday nights. Thank you for joining us here with our little show on ephemera and putting the PH for profit in ephemera, or as Don likes to say, the F for fun in thrifting. So I didn't want to put the P because the F in ephemera for profit. So thank you very much. We'll see you all next Tuesday at our live show. And if you are, take a look at us tomorrow night or Whatnot. We might even do a pop-up a little later on tonight just to sell some trucker hats. Just keep ourselves rolling in that. Try and get ourselves to 100 followers. Rick is not looking happy at that. Thanks, everyone.
No, I'm not. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.